Rugby has seen some truly legendary players grace its fields, but who deserves the title of the greatest? Prepare to be amazed as we dive into a list that will spark debates and ignite passions among fans worldwide. Here's a unique take on the top 100 rugby players of all time, ranked from 100 to 1, with a twist of controversy and insight that'll keep you hooked. 50. Scott Gibbs, Wales, centre/winger. A Welsh icon whose performances for both the Lions and Wales cemented his legacy. His versatility and sheer determination made him a fan favorite. But here's where it gets controversial: was he truly a game-changer, or just a product of his era? 49. Philippe Sella, France, centre. Known for his creativity and try-scoring prowess, Sella redefined the role of a centre. His ability to read the game set him apart, but some argue he lacked consistency in high-pressure matches. What's your take? 48. Greenwood, England, centre. A reliable stalwart, Greenwood's consistency and teamwork were unparalleled. However, critics claim he wasn't as flashy as his contemporaries. Is reliability enough to earn a spot in the top 50? 47. Fourie Dupont, South Africa, scrum half. A world-class playmaker and strategist, Dupont's vision on the field was unmatched. His role in South Africa's success is undeniable, but was he overshadowed by his teammates' physical dominance? 46. Nemani Natalo, Fiji, winger. One of Fiji's greatest try-scorers, Natalo's power and speed made him a nightmare for defenders. Yet, some argue he didn't achieve enough on the international stage. Fair criticism or undue scrutiny? 45. Sam Warburton, Wales, openside flanker. A captain for both Wales and the Lions, Warburton's leadership and skill at the breakdown were exceptional. But did his injuries prevent him from reaching his full potential? 44. Alan Wyn-Jones, Wales, lock. The most capped player in rugby history, Jones' durability and skill are legendary. However, some question whether longevity alone deserves such high praise. What do you think? 43. George Gregan, Australia, scrum half. Holding the record for most international caps, Gregan's leadership and scrum half mastery are undisputed. Yet, critics argue he lacked the flair of other greats. Flair or consistency, which matters more? 42. Sean Fitzpatrick, New Zealand, hooker. A dominant leader and hooker, Fitzpatrick's impact on the All Blacks was immense. But was his success more about the team's strength than his individual brilliance? 41. Keith Wood, Ireland, hooker. Dynamic and strong in both open play and set pieces, would redefine the hooker role. However, some believe he didn't achieve enough silverware. Does individual skill outweigh team success? 40. Tendai Mtawarira, South Africa, prop. A scrummaging powerhouse, the beast dominated the front row. Yet, critics argue he wasn't as effective in open play. Is specialization enough for greatness? 39. Christian Cullen, New Zealand, fullback. A phenomenon in the late 1990s, early 2000s, Cullen's speed and vision were unparalleled. But did his career peak too early? A missed opportunity or a legacy complete? 38. Felipe Contepemi, Argentina, fly half. A key figure for Argentina in the 2000s, Contepemi's skill and leadership were vital. However, some argue he didn't achieve enough on the global stage. Is national impact enough for greatness? 37. Bakkies Botha, South Africa, lock. Known for his physical dominance in tight play, Botha was a force to be reckoned with. Yet, critics claim he lacked versatility. Does raw power trump adaptability? 36. Stephen Larkham, Australia, fly half. A creative playmaker, Larkham's vision and skill were game-changing. However, some argue he wasn't consistent enough. Is creativity worth the risk of inconsistency? 35. Paul O'Connell, Ireland, lock. A towering leader for Ireland and the Lions, O'Connell's presence was immense. But did his injuries hinder his legacy? A what-if story or a complete career? 34. Antoine Dupont, France, scrum half with world-class vision, speed and game management, Dupont is a modern-day legend. But is he already among the greatest, or does he need more time to prove himself? 33. Sergio Parisse, Italy, number 8. An elite player and Italy's captain, Parisse's skill and leadership were unmatched. Yet, some argue he didn't achieve enough with a weaker team. Does team success define individual greatness? 32. David Campese, Australia. Winger. An iconic Wallabies winger, Campese's flair and try-scoring ability were legendary. However, critics claim he was inconsistent. Is flair worth the risk of inconsistency? 31. David Pocock, Australia. Open side flanker. A breakdown master, Pocock's skill and work ethic were exceptional. But did his focus on breakdowns limit his overall impact? Specialization or versatility? Which is more valuable? 30. Jeremy Guscott, England. Centre. Known for his attacking flair, Guscott was a game-changer. Yet, some argue he wasn't as effective defensively. Is attack more important than defense? 29. Brian Habana, South Africa. Winger. A top try-scorer, Habana's speed and finishing were unmatched. However, critics claim he relied too much on his team setup. Individual skill or team effort? What's the truth? 28. JPR Williams, Wales. Fullback. A rock-solid defender, Williams' reliability was his greatest strength. But did his lack of flair hold him back? Reliability or flair? Which defines greatness? 27. Schockberger, South Africa. Flanker. A fearless breakdown beast and 2007 World Cup hero, Berger's impact was immense. Yet some argue he was too aggressive. Is aggression a strength or a weakness? 26. Beauden, Barrett, New Zealand. Fly half/fullback. With incredible pace, vision and kicking ability, Barrett is a modern-day great. But is he as good as his predecessors? A new legend or just another great? And this is the part most people miss. Greatness in rugby isn't just about skill. It's about impact, leadership, and legacy. Who do you think deserves the top spot? Let's debate in the comments. Agree or disagree? Every opinion counts.